youth work started for me. I had an interest in it in college and Maynooth and so on. Some of it may well have been from my own memories of adolescence, you know, and the challenges of it. But I remember looking up on some scout stuff and so on there. But after when I came out to work in a parish, I was invited to work with a group of girls who had no gathering place at all, whereas the boys had programs of their own. So we set up a youth group in Boring, County Offaly, where I worked for a year and a half. And it was a very rewarding experience. I was very conscious of how much they needed each other as young people, and also they needed adults who had a sympathetic approach to where they were at. After a little while longer after that, I was invited by the bishop to, would I go abroad and do postgraduate work on getting more into the questions that youth work involved. And having done that, I came back after a year, and straight away my free time got involved in youth work. I was teaching otherwise, but it just developed from there on, from the middle 70s especially. Sometimes people feel that young people are almost a nuisance, have a nuisance value, that they are loud and that they hunt around in groups and so on. And some people say, how do we fix them almost? In fact, young people don't need any fixing, but they need a lot of help and reassurance as they make their way through a whole new stage of life in their adolescence and so on. Young people are, in many ways, they're predictable. In other ways, you never quite know. They can change and they can inspire you sometimes when least expected. And I have found the way in which they can change seems to come so much more easy to them than it does to mature adults in many ways. I suppose one of the things that has inspired me most in my work, and that's nearly 50 years working with young people, is the way in which they can bounce back from difficult situations and so on. I have always found their resilience really inspiring, and the courage and the way in which they can face into situations that are really difficult for them. It inspires many older people. Youth work is about putting in place people to work with young people and help them through and be of support to them as they make their way through this new area of their life. A good youth worker will first of all listen and listen very carefully to what people, youngsters, are saying, and sometimes what's behind what they're saying about their concerns and their fears. A good youth worker will be willing to accept them for what they're saying, not try and change them or not try to fix them, but simply to build a relationship with them and convey to the young person that they are of assistance to them on their terms. For a young person starting off as a youth worker, I would say you are entering a marvelous area where you will have wonderful experiences, provided that you really reach out and value and respect every person you're dealing with. Some of them will annoy you because they'll be too locked up in themselves and they may be only monosyllabic when you're trying to sort of get some response from them. Give them time, listen to them, and you will be amazed at what you achieve. A good youth work environment is a place where young people can come, want to come, of course. They'll only come if they find it's worth their while. It's a place where they will find acceptance, where they'll find friendship. There may be tensions and there might be interpersonal stuff at times. That's all part of the process, but they may well learn how to handle things like that. The good youth worker will be very sensitive to those who need to be helped forward, and also others who may be too dominant. Of course, his biggest ally always will be the friends and the peers of the young people who are there. They're the ones who will really give the support to their colleagues. And as the worker builds that relationship with them, in turn, their own relationships will be positive and supportive. Now, at the same time, with all the changes, the basic requirement for youth work to accompany young people through this particular phase in life, in recreation time, in their activities or whatever, that still is there today. It's needed as much today as it was ever needed. And hopefully the services will be able to keep a focus on the main thing, the needs of young people, especially their needs of helping them to find their place in society in this time of transition. Every beginning is a promise, born in light and dying in dark. Determination and exaltation of springtime, flowering the way to work.